You're earning money, but where is it going? You check your account at the end of the month, and it's like someone secretly unplugged your bank balance. Well, guess what? They did. Not one person, but 6 silent cash flow killers. And they're draining thousands from you every single year without you even noticing. These aren't flashy mistakes like buying a sports car you can't afford. They're quiet, invisible, and socially acceptable. That's what makes them so dangerous. By the time you realize what's happening, the damage is already done. In the next few minutes, I'm going to expose each of these 6 wealth drains and give you the exact fix for every single one, so you can stop leaking money and start building wealth immediately. And here's the uncomfortable truth. Most people will keep working harder, earning more, and still end up broke because they don't fix these. But if you understand and eliminate even one of these killers today, you could put thousands back into your pocket this year. So let's start with the first one, and fair warning, it's probably stealing from you right now. Mistake number 1, the subscription avalanche. Here's a shocking statistic that might make your jaw drop. The average American is currently paying for over 14 different subscription services, but can only name about 7 of them when asked. That means you're literally paying for services you've completely forgotten about. This isn't just about your Netflix and Spotify subscriptions. We're talking about gym memberships you haven't used in months, software subscriptions that auto-renewed without you noticing, premium app features you signed up for during a free trial and forgot to cancel, and even subscription boxes for products you no longer want or need. The subscription model has become so pervasive because companies know exactly what they're doing. They make it incredibly easy to sign up with one click or a simple swipe, but intentionally make it complicated and time-consuming to cancel. They're literally banking on your forgetfulness and your tendency to avoid the hassle of cancellation. But here's where it gets really expensive. These forgotten subscriptions aren't just costing you $5 or $10 a month. When you add them all up, the average person is losing between $300 to $800 per year on subscriptions they're not actively using or have completely forgotten about. The solution here is brutally simple, but requires some discipline. Set up what I call a subscription audit day once every quarter. Go through your bank statements and credit card statements with a fine-tooth comb. Look for every recurring charge, no matter how small. Then ask yourself this critical question for each one. Did this service provide me with value in the last 30 days that was worth more than what I paid for it? If the answer is no, cancel it immediately. Don't tell yourself you'll use it more next month. Cancel it now and resubscribe later if you actually need it. This one action alone could put hundreds of dollars back in your pocket every single year. Mistake number 2, the convenience tax trap. The second cash flow killer is what I call the convenience tax, and it's probably the most expensive invisible expense in your life. This is the premium you pay for choosing the easy option over the smart option, and it adds up to thousands of dollars per year for most people. Think about your daily routine. How often do you grab coffee from that expensive coffee shop instead of making it at home? How frequently do you order takeout or delivery instead of cooking? How many times do you pay for expedited shipping because you didn't plan ahead? How often do you shop at the most convenient store instead of the most cost-effective one? Each of these individual decisions seems insignificant in the moment. What's $5 for a latte? What's $3 for delivery fees? What's an extra $10 to get something delivered tomorrow instead of next week? But when you multiply these convenience charges across an entire year, the numbers become staggering. Let's do some quick math that might shock you. If you buy just one expensive coffee drink per day instead of making coffee at home, you're looking at roughly $1,500 per year. If you order food delivery just twice a week instead of cooking or picking it up yourself, you're adding another $2,000 in delivery fees, tips, and inflated menu prices. If you consistently choose convenience over cost-effectiveness in your shopping habits, you could easily be adding another $1,000 per year in unnecessary expenses. That's $4,500 per year in convenience taxes alone. For most people, that's the equivalent of a nice vacation, a significant investment contribution, or several months of emergency fund savings. The key to breaking free from the convenience tax trap is planning and preparation. Start by identifying your biggest convenience spending patterns. Then create systems that make the smart choice easier than the convenient choice. Prep your coffee the night before. Plan your meals for the week and do batch cooking. Order things in advance so you don't need expedited shipping. Choose one day per week for all your errands instead of making multiple trips. Mistake number 3, the phantom debt drain. The third cash flow killer is perhaps the most insidious because it's literally designed to keep you trapped in a cycle of minimum payments forever. I'm talking about carrying balances on credit cards, store cards, and other high-interest debt while only making minimum payments. Here's what most people don't understand about minimum payments. They're calculated specifically to maximize the amount of interest you'll pay over the life of the debt while making you feel like you're making progress. It's a psychological trick that keeps you trapped in debt for decades. Let me give you a real example that will illustrate just how expensive this mistake is. If you have a credit card balance of $5,000 at an 18% interest rate, and you only make minimum payments, it will take you over 25 years to pay it off, and you'll pay more than $8,000 in interest alone. That means you'll pay almost $13,000 total for something that originally cost $5,000. But the cash flow impact goes beyond just the interest payments. When you're trapped in minimum payment cycles, you're dedicating a significant portion of your monthly income to servicing debt instead of building wealth. This creates what I call the debt opportunity cost, where every dollar going to interest payments is a dollar that could have been invested and grown over time. The solution requires what I call the debt avalanche strategy combined with aggressive payment acceleration. List all your debts from highest interest rate to lowest interest rate. Continue making minimum payments on everything, but throw every extra dollar you can find at the highest interest rate debt first. Once that's paid off, take that entire payment amount and add it to the minimum payment of the next highest interest rate debt. But here's the crucial part that most people miss. You need to find extra money to accelerate this process, and the best way to do that is by fixing the other cash flow mistakes I'm sharing with you today. The money you save from canceling unused subscriptions and avoiding convenience taxes should go directly toward debt elimination. Mistake number 4, the insurance coverage gap. The fourth cash flow killer is one that most people only discover when it's too late. It's the gap between what you think your insurance covers and what it actually covers when you need it most. This gap can result in massive, unexpected expenses that can destroy years of financial progress in a single event. Most people treat insurance as just another bill to pay rather than understanding it as the foundation of their financial protection strategy. They choose the cheapest option available or accept whatever their employer provides without really understanding what they're covered for and, more importantly, what they're not covered for. Here's where this becomes a cash flow killer. When you're underinsured or incorrectly insured, you're essentially gambling with your financial future. One major medical event, car accident, or home disaster could result in tens of thousands of dollars in out-of-pocket expenses that you're not prepared for. But the mistake isn't just about having too little coverage. Many people also make the opposite error of paying for coverage they don't need, or having deductibles that are either too high or too low for their financial situation. They might be paying premiums for coverage that duplicates protection they already have elsewhere, or they might have such low deductibles that they're paying significantly higher premiums for protection against expenses they could easily handle with their emergency fund. The solution requires what I call an insurance optimization audit. Start by gathering all your insurance policies and actually reading them. Yes, I know they're boring and written in confusing language, but this is your financial protection we're talking about. Understand what's covered, what's excluded, what your deductibles are, and what your maximum out-of-pocket expenses could be in various scenarios. Then evaluate whether your coverage aligns with your actual financial situation and risk tolerance. If you have a solid emergency fund, you might be able to increase your deductibles and lower your premiums. If you have dependents or significant assets to protect, you might need to increase certain coverages even if it means higher premiums. The goal is to find the sweet spot where you're protected against financially catastrophic events without overpaying for protection against expenses you can handle on your own. Mistake number 5, the emergency fund illusion. The fifth cash flow killer is what I call the emergency fund illusion, and it's destroying people's financial stability in two different ways. Either they have no emergency fund at all and are constantly stressed about unexpected expenses, Or they think they have an emergency fund, but it's not actually accessible or sufficient when they need it. Let's start with the people who have no emergency fund. These individuals are living in what I call crisis mode, where every unexpected expense becomes a financial emergency that requires borrowing money or dipping into long-term savings. This creates a cycle where they're constantly playing financial defense instead of building wealth. When your car breaks down, your appliance stops working, or you have an unexpected medical expense and you don't have easily accessible cash to handle it, you're forced into expensive solutions. You might put it on a credit card and pay interest, take money from retirement accounts and pay penalties and taxes, or take out expensive emergency loans. But the second group has a problem that's almost as dangerous. They think they have an emergency fund, but it's not actually set up correctly. Maybe they have the money tied up in investments that could lose value when they need it most, or in accounts with withdrawal penalties, or simply not enough to cover their actual expenses for the recommended 3 to 6 months. Here's what a proper emergency fund actually looks like. It should be 3 to 6 months of your essential expenses, not your income. It should be in a boring, easily accessible savings account or money market account. It shouldn't be invested in stocks, crypto, or anything that could lose value. And it should be completely separate from your other savings goals. The cash flow impact of not having a proper emergency fund is enormous because it forces you into expensive borrowing every time life happens. But having one that's properly structured gives you the confidence to optimize other areas of your finances because you know you have a solid foundation to fall back on. Mistake number 6, the lifestyle inflation trap. The final cash flow killer is perhaps the most subtle and dangerous because it happens so gradually that most people don't even notice it until it's completely taken over their financial life. It's called lifestyle inflation, and it's the tendency to increase your spending every time your income increases, leaving you with the same financial stress despite earning more money. This is why so many people who make six-figure incomes still feel like they're living paycheck to paycheck. Every time they get a raise, promotion, or bonus, instead of using that extra income to improve their financial position, they unconsciously upgrade their lifestyle to match their new income level. It starts innocently enough. You get a raise, so you move to a nicer apartment or buy a more expensive car. You get a promotion, so you start eating out at nicer restaurants or shopping at higher-end stores. You get a bonus, so you book a more expensive vacation or upgrade your gadgets and electronics. Each individual upgrade seems reasonable and well-deserved. After all, you're working hard and earning more money, so shouldn't you enjoy the fruits of your labor? The problem is that these lifestyle upgrades often increase your fixed expenses, locking you into higher spending levels that become very difficult to reverse. The real tragedy of lifestyle inflation is that it steals your ability to build wealth even when your income is increasing. Instead of each raise and promotion moving you closer to financial freedom, you find yourself trapped at the same level of financial stress, just with more expensive stuff. The solution requires what I call intentional lifestyle design. Instead of automatically spending increases in income, create a rule that at least 50% of any income increase goes directly toward wealth-building activities like debt elimination, emergency fund building, or investing. This allows you to enjoy some lifestyle improvements while still making meaningful progress toward your financial goals. But here's the advanced strategy that really makes the difference. Before you get the next raise or promotion, decide in advance exactly what you'll do with that extra income. Create a written plan that allocates the money before you receive it. This prevents the psychological tendency to view the entire increase as available for lifestyle upgrades. So there you have it. These 6 financial mistakes are quietly draining thousands of dollars from your cash flow every single year. The subscription avalanche that's bleeding money from forgotten services, the convenience tax trap that's making you pay premium prices for everyday decisions, the phantom debt drain that's keeping you trapped in minimum payment cycles, the insurance coverage gap that's leaving you vulnerable to financial catastrophe, the emergency fund illusion that's forcing you into expensive borrowing when life happens, and the lifestyle inflation trap that's stealing your ability to build wealth even as your income increases. But here's the thing that gives me hope, and it should give you hope too. Every single one of these mistakes is completely within your control to fix. You don't need anyone's permission. You don't need to wait for the perfect time. And you don't need to have it all figured out before you start. Start with the mistake that resonates most with your current situation. If you know you have subscription services you're not using, start there. If you recognize yourself in the convenience tax trap, focus on that first. The key is to take action immediately on something rather than trying to fix everything at once and getting overwhelmed. Remember, the goal isn't perfection. The goal is progress. Every dollar you reclaim from these cash flow killers is a dollar that can work for you instead of against you. And when you start seeing the results, it creates momentum that makes tackling the other areas much easier. If this video helped you identify cash flow leaks in your own finances, I'd love to hear about it in the comments. Share which mistake hit closest to home for you and what you're planning to do about it. And if you found this valuable, make sure to subscribe because I'm constantly sharing strategies to help you build wealth and achieve financial freedom faster than you thought possible. Your financial future is worth fighting for, and it starts with the decisions you make today.